Hey, this is Mr. Aiden. This is the 2022 AP Calculus AB free response question number 4. This is from the exam on May 9th, 2022. If you want more information about my stuff, go to my YouTube channel at Mr. Aiden. Go to my website at www.mrayton.com. That's MRAYTON.com, and you'll find plenty of stuff that you can take a look at on calculus and chemistry and physics and a whole bunch of other stuff. So let's get to this question. This was a question number 4. This was a non-calculator question, and you can see right away, you see they gave us a table. Okay, they gave us a table of an ice sculpture, and you can see they gave us r prime of t, which is centimeters per day. They gave me the time in days, which means you know it's probably going to be some sort of Riemann sum type problem. We wanted to know r prime prime of 8.5. And we have here r of prime. So how do we find r prime prime of 8.5? Well, we're going to use this interval of 7 to 10. We're going to use r prime of 10 minus r prime of 7 over 10 minus 7. We're going to take the slope between this 7 and 10 time here. We're going to take this slope. And so you can see r prime of 10 is negative 3.8 centimeters per day. I'm going to be particular about my units here. Minus r prime of 7, which is negative 4.4 centimeters per day. And on the bottom, we have 10 days minus 7 days. And we're going to have to do a little bit of math here. So we got negative 3.8 minus a negative 4.4, which means it's adding 4.4, which means we end up getting positive 0.6 on my numerator is centimeters per day over 3 days. And we can reduce that down to positive 0.2 centimeters per day squared, or centimeters per day. And we have to indicate the units of measurement. That's something they needed for us. And that was basically the slope from 7 to 10, the average rate of change. Let's go to B. B is asking for, is there a time between 0 and 3, between this time and this time, between 0 and 3, for which r prime of t is equal to negative 6. So ding, 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 ding. If you see this type of problem, you know it is an intermediate value theorem problem. You can see this problem, this function, is a twice differentiable function. If it's twice differentiable, then we know it is continuous. And that is the big stipulation for the intermediate value theorem. Remember, on a test you want to write out intermediate value theorem. And so, therefore, you can say if r prime of 0 equals negative 6.1 centimeters per day, and r prime of 3 is equal to negative 5.0 centimeters per day, according to the intermediate value theorem, we know that there must be an r prime of t which equals negative 6. We're going to cross over that time. Why does the chicken cross the road? Because the intermediate value theorem. Okay, but you have to give the justification of the that it's twice differentiable, it's continuous. That helps to give a full orbed answer. Let's go to problem C. Problem C says we're going to take the integral from 0 to 12 of r prime of t dt, and we're going to use a right Riemann sum. And so we're going to use a right-hand Riemann sum, which means we're going to start at the right hand. We got negative 3.5. Remember, that's centimeters per day. And that's being multiplied by the change of days, which is 2 days. Okay? And we're going to add that to negative 3.8 centimeters per day. Again, being very particular about units. And that change of days is 3 days. It's not a, we're using 4 subintervals, but they're not the same delta t here. And then we're going to add our next time, which is negative 4.4 centimeters per day. And I'm going to go for that for 4 days. And last but not least, with this right Riemann sum, we get negative 5.0 centimeters per day. And we're going to go a delta t of 3 days. And so I got to do a little bit of math, scrap math on the side. And I get negative 7 for this first one. I got negative 11.4, negative 17.6, negative 15. I add all that up, and I end up getting negative 51 centimeters. And you can see centimeters per day times days leaves us with the units of centimeters here. And that is a right Riemann sum. I like to start on the right-hand side for the right Riemann sum. Left-hand side, I like to start on the left side. Trapezoid is different than both of those. Okay. And last but not least, you can see we have a whole bunch of things. They gave me the height. You can see the height of the cone decreases at a rate, which means that is telling me dH over dt is equal to negative 2 centimeters per day. They told me the time is 3 days, which means at 3 days, I know the dr of dt equals negative 5 centimeters per day. You can see we know the radius is the r. The radius is 100 centimeters. We know the height, the h, is equal to 50 centimeters. And I like to, for these implicit differentiation problems, I like to write out all the little things I know, and that's going to really help me out. So I'm going to take this formula they gave me for the volume of a cone. Volume of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared h. And I'm going to take the derivative, the dv over dt. So I got to use the product rule here. And so I got to first take the derivative of this r. So I have 1/3 pi times 2r dr over dt times h. So that is the derivative right there. Plus 1/3 pi r squared times the derivative of h, which is 1, times dh over dt. Okay, and so we want to take the derivative of the r and the derivative of the h. And now we're going to plug in all the values we know. We have 1/3 pi. We have 2 times r. What is the radius? The radius is 100 centimeters. You can see dr over dt. Dr over dt, I didn't know, is negative 5 centimeters per day. I know this h is equal to 50 centimeters. Okay, and I have all these values in here, plus I got 1/3 pi times the radius hasn't changed, 100 centimeters, or squaring those centimeters, and then the dh over dt is decreasing, so I got to put a negative because it's decreasing at 2 centimeters per day. And so I'm going to do a little bit of multiplication, and I get negative 50,000 over 3 pi plus negative 20,000 over 3 pi, which ends up giving me negative 70,000 over 3 pi. Now let's think about the units here. We had this 100 is centimeters. This negative 5 was centimeters per day, and this 50 was centimeters. So we have centimeters cubed per day. It's going to be the same over here. This guy was centimeters. It was being squared. This was centimeters per day. And so what is this negative 70,000 over 3 pi? That's centimeters cubed per day. And let's think about the change in volume. Volume is centimeters cubed, length times width times height. And in this case, it's the volume of a cone. And time is per day. Well, I hope that helped. That was the 2022 AP Calculus AB free response number 4. Check out Mr. Aiden. Check out all my YouTube videos. And make sure you like them. Make sure you watch the videos. Give me more money. Just joking. Just watch them. And hopefully they help. Take care. I'll see you on the flip side.